Hello everyone and welcome back to Football Friends. It's been a while, hasn't it? Last time we did Football Friends we talked about Manchester United and Fred and the potential he had to expand within the club, and that was a while ago now. I did have a couple of videos planned for this series, but none of them went through unfortunately, because my opinion soon changed about what I was talking about, and most of it was pretty obvious as well. However, today I'd like to talk about my main team, my favourite team, Preston North End, and essentially what needs to be done over the summer for this club, because there's a lot of changes that need to be made for this club to, be contending again for the top of the table and maybe for the playoffs to the Premier League. Even though I'm doubtful that'll happen in the short term, hopefully it could happen in the long term if the club goes about things in the right way over this summer transfer window, as well as some general improvements the club probably needs to make. Now, before I get into this, I need to say this one quick thing, and that the club has already taken a good step with the season tickets for the 2022 and 2023 season. The early bird offers for these tickets, even though they're going on sale really early, which is a shocker, I do believe that anyone who wants to get into Deepdale needs to get this season ticket now and get it as fast as they can, because these early bird offers are quite simply fantastic, and it's an opportunity that you probably shouldn't miss, because you're saving yourself a lot of money, and it's definitely going to entice a lot of fans to go to Deepdale next season. So well played on that one. We do need the fans to get back into Deepdale, because when the atmosphere is going, Deepdale is one of the best stadiums in the country, so I hope to see it rocking more often. Alright, so the main topic I want to talk about here, and how I think Preston North End can improve itself and most importantly start contending again, is for a summer clean out, which is pretty obvious. A lot of clubs have this problem, Manchester United included, and essentially we just need to drop a lot of the dead weight for this club. To get started, we need to talk about the players that we know are 100% probably not going to return next season, and that is our loan players, which includes the likes of Daniel Everson, probably one of the best keepers in the league this season, Sepp van den Berg, a fantastic defender, and Cameron Archer, an absolutely wonderful forward. We're going to be losing 3 very good players over this summer unless we can, find the money to buy them back. Out of the 3, if I had to choose, I would buy back Everson, because not only has he just made some incredible saves over the season, but he's come to the rescue a couple of times as well. I do think Everson is a bigger asset to us than perhaps, let's say, Archer or Van den Berg, even though Archer's goals have kept us afloat in the middle of the table. We could be battling for relegation if it wasn't for Archer, so I can't exactly fault the other players. However, I must say I'm more than impressed with Daniel Everson this season, so if I had to take my pick, I'd choose Everson. But for the rest of the team, it gets a little bit difficult, because everyone comes with their own set of problems, and they also come with their own set of strengths. They all bring something to the table that can be useful, but at the same time it's not being utilised just yet. Now, fair enough, I know we need to give Ryan Lowe some time to settle in and put his manager tactics into play. He's only been here for half a season, give or take, so he does need some more time, but I do think once Ryan Lowe can get things down and he's got the players that he wants, I do think we can start to see an impact with this club and hopefully be contending for the playoffs within the next 4 years. We're going to start with more or less with the forwards. One of the most popular forwards and our top scorer is Emile Rees. I think we should hold on to Rees. Of course, Rees is a fantastic player. He does some amazing goals, and he does work pretty hard when he does have the ball, but in recent games he hasn't really been all there with it. He hasn't scored a goal for some time, excluding that Barnsley goal, but apart from that Barnsley goal, he hasn't really scored for a while. And obviously he's been injured and whatnot, and the team around him don't seem to really be working with him. And he's also, since Archer's come in as well, he's also been on the bench with Ched Evans in the reverse role sometimes. And we'll move on to Ched Evans now, actually. Of course, this is a player with mountains and mountains of controversy behind him, but I'm pretty sure a majority of Deepdale and other stadiums have sort of forgotten about that and let it slide. The guy's rescued his career to some extent, and I think he's a great forward. He's a great attribute to the club. Even on the ball, when he's not trying to go for goal, he's really good. He plays a decent midfield role at times, but when he has a ball and he's going for goal, he can be an absolute asset. But overall, I do think Ched should maybe be starting in more games, because he's been on the bench quite a lot recently. I know he's been injured, but he spends a lot of time on the bench. But when he's off the bench and he's not going for the goal, instead he's just assisting, playing maybe like a centre mid role or a winger, something like that. He's really good. I'm not bothered about who scores the goals as long as we do score the goal, and I think that should be the main focus going forward. We need to sort of concentrate on trying to get the goal, trying to get the ball in the back of the net, rather than trying to get individual players to get the goal. because at the end of the day, football is a team sport, and it feels like there's only a select number of players playing their parts and trying to get that ball in the net at times, and I think that should change. Of course, you need to be really knowledgeable and really good at football to do something like that, to be as diverse on the pitch as that would require. And I'm not saying Preston North End play top level football, because they definitely don't, but I do think we can train these players into doing something similar. And then obviously the more we progress with this manager and coaching staff and whatnot, I do believe this team does have a lot of potential to bring out something amazing. And yeah, I do think there's a lot of potential here. A very controversial opinion that could be sparking around Twitter at the minute, which I've seen a bit, is about Daniel Johnson, and a lot of people are saying that we should get rid of DJ. DJ's been at the club for a very long time now, and it's clear to see that over the years his performances have started to drop in quality. However, at the start of the season he was pretty good. But as the season's gone on, especially after Archer came in, he's had to have a role reversal because we put Archer up front, which is normally where Johnson plays. So Johnson's had to go further back on the pitch, and he's got a different role now. This is probably only temporary, but it's clearly made some form of an impact to DJ's performances, I think. And it's a shame because, he's got a lot of potential, and he showed his potential for goal scoring and manoeuvring in that Barnsley game when we played them on the Gentry. I do think DJ could still do a lot for this club. He is getting old now, which is understandable, that he's probably maybe wanting to move on sooner or later, but I don't know. He's turning 30 this year in October, so he's not coming to the end of his career just yet, but he is getting towards that middle point where maybe you need to sort of switch things up a little bit. But if I had to have a choice, I'd keep DJ and put him back to where he's comfortable, because that's where he performs best in my opinion. So I don't have any problems with DJ, unlike a couple people on Twitter. Scott Sinclair, however, he needs to go. He's too old. He's called the Lightning, yeah, sure, fair enough, but does he look like Lightning anymore? I don't think so. Scott Sinclair's been on the bench for God knows how long now, and whenever he comes on in a game, he fails to make an impact. He just can't do it. It's a waste of wages, it's a waste of our finance. Preston North End isn't a financially stable club. Well, it's stable, but it's not a wealthy club. It's not a massive club, let's say like Liverpool or Arsenal. It's not got the funding to afford very expensive players or to pay decent enough wages to quite a few players. There's players that are on, let's say, like 15k, and there's players that are on around 45k. But that's obviously it's understandable to some degree on who it is. But yeah, I really think Scott Sinclair should go, because, like I say, we don't play him, and when we do play him, he fails to make an impact. Bambo Diaby is a more recent signing. We signed him only a couple of months back, just after Lowe came in. And when he's been on the pitch, especially in his debut game, I thought he was really, really good. For a guy that large, I'm not saying big, but tall and whatnot. He'd be a heavy guy. He can run surprisingly fast, and the way he presses the opposition, I find it really, really good, because there's not a lot of our back line that has the courage to actually get out there and make a tackle or put a foot in to get the ball. They don't try to win the ball back as often as Diaby does, and that's where his biggest strengths lie. He's really good at press. However, when it comes to running with the ball, he's not the best. Like when he runs with the ball, he makes some strange runs, and then when he goes to pass, he does make some extremely silly mistakes. So Diaby, he's a questionable one. I think for now we should leave him on the bench, but until we can get him back to match fitness and match quality, that's when we should start playing him in the starting 11. Because in more recent games we have been playing him, especially against Fulham. After about 15 minutes of being on the pitch, he was absolutely knackered. He was goosed after 15 minutes. He's had a lot of time out from football. I think it was 2 years he was out for. So I can't blame the guy for being tired or not up to speed just yet. But this is where we need to, sort of bring in the discipline and have the summer to, get him back to standard. Because Diaby could be an absolute asset to this back line, which is already quite weak as it is. But I do think there's a lot of potential with Diaby. Alan Brown is a questionable one. When Alan Brown's been here for a while as well, but his performance this season hasn't exactly been fantastic by any means necessary. He's made a couple of good runs and whatnot. The season started out semi-strong for him. I just don't think he's working as hard as he could be working. I don't know if the captaincy's got anything to do with it, but I'm not going to put it down to that completely. But I don't think Alan Brown should be the captain personally. I think it should be DJ. That's just my personal opinion. But Brown, like I said, the guy's got a lot of potential to do things for us, as we've seen before. But this season he's not exactly been great. He's not been an asset. He's just been there. We just have no other choice but to play him at times. He got that goal against Blackburn at home, which is fine enough, I suppose. It was a good header, but I can't really say anything else about Brown this season. He's not been fantastic, but I do know the potential's there, and he's not exactly old just yet. He's still got a couple of years left in him. So I think we do keep Brown. We just need to sort of, wake him up a little bit and see what's going on. Brad Potts is my absolute surprise of the year. I think Potts had a terrible start to the season under Frankie McAvoy, and he was one of my least favourite players. He made so many stupid mistakes, and he just did not work in the position that he played. But since Lowe's came in, and he's put him into that right wing position, I do think that Brad Potts has been one of the absolute key players in this squad since Lowe came in. His ability to just make them runs down the side of the pitch and then cross it into the box, the crosses that he makes are fantastic. The guy is just so good in this position, and I have no idea why he wasn't playing here in the first place, but Potsy is someone we should absolutely keep. I have no doubts that he's going to be an absolute asset next season, and we should probably try and hold on to him for a little while longer. The guy's got some good talent, he's got some years left in him, so yeah, I do think we should keep hold of Potts. He's a great player. Josh Murphy, as far as I'm aware, has already been let go because of attitude problems or something like that, so I'm not going to go over Josh Murphy, but I wouldn't have kept him anyway. This is someone that a lot of people will say needs to go, and that is Sean Maguire. And I can agree, Sean Maguire plays in a forward position, but he just can't score any goals. He misses some very open sitters, and it's a shame, because obviously Maguire used to score a couple of goals, but no, Maguire's not all there anymore. I think he's lost his touch. When he's been on in these games, however, when he's not trying to run for goal and he's just chilling around the midfield, I think he's been playing relatively well. When he's in that sort of a Daniel Johnson position, around that same area of space on the pitch, I do think Maguire has been pretty okay on the ball. He does some decent passes and some good runs, but when it comes to actually trying to score a goal, he's not there, but he does work hard. So if we're not going to let him go, I say we try and get him in a midfield position rather than a striker, or a forward, because it's not working out for him. So I think if we're going to keep Sean, we're going to put him in a midfield. But if not, I can see the club selling him. It's just going to happen. Two players I really want to keep is Ali McCann and Ben Whiteman. These two are fantastic on the midfield. Ben Whiteman is probably one of my favourite players on the squad. The guy works incredibly hard, and he takes some really good free kicks and corners. He's just really good at what he does, and especially in that Blackpool game when we played them at home, he was all over the place as soon as they got the ball. The guy is a working monster, he's a machine, and he should definitely be kept in the team next season. Ali McCann needs to be on the starting 11 and not on the bench. The lad has been on the bench basically for most of the season, and I think that is dead wrong because he's absolute quality. The only reason I think he's been placed on the bench is because it's going to probably deter other clubs from buying him, because he's not getting a lot of game time. They can't see what he's about. So I think they're trying to just try to keep him on the low key so that we can keep hold of him. Because if a club puts in an offer to get him, then I can see them taking him, to be honest with you. So I think it's a good thing that we're not playing him now, but come next season we 100% need to stop playing him. Ryan Ledson, Izzy Brown and Matthew Olasunde, Tom Barkhazen, Liam Lindsay. I'm going to do all these at once. They need to go. Plain and simple, they need to go. Olasunde had one game for us, I believe, and that was Blackburn away, and I was not impressed whatsoever. Izzy Brown I've not seen play at all. Tom Barkhazen's been out with injury for a long time, and he doesn't really do much anyways. When he did play those games, he did score a few goals, but he's not really one of the best players I've seen. Liam Lindsay is an absolute liability to this team. The amount of cards he collects in games and red cards he's swept up this season is pathetic. He makes some stupid challenges, and he's terrible when it comes to running. He doesn't tend to go past the halfway line, and when he does, he's not putting a foot in, he's not making challenges. He's with a guy that size as well, he's not really winning any headers, which is strange. But I don't like Liam Lindsay, he needs to go. Ryan Ledson as well, I've not seen any game time with him for a bit, so I think it would be better out of his interest to leave. and to crack on somewhere else really. Declan Rudd has already retired. Unfortunately, that was the goalkeeper that I grew up watching, so it was a shame to see him go, but I can understand. Patrick Bauer, 100% I think we should keep. Bauer's a great defender, he does some good work on the pitch, and he's probably one of our only reliable backline players, so I can't see us getting rid of Bauer, but if we do get rid of Bauer, then hopefully a good enough replacement comes in to replace him. Andrew Hughes is another one that is sort of in the middle. I have mixed feelings about Hughes. Sometimes he'll be good, sometimes he won't. So I think if we can get Hughes up to speed and maybe playing at a better quality, then we could keep him. If not, I think he probably could be going. Connor Ripley is the only remaining goalkeeper if we can't keep Everson. So that is very worrying to me. Ripley's not a bad goalkeeper by any means necessary. I mean, there's Matthew Hudson as well, but it doesn't exactly fill me with hope. I've not seen much of the two of them, but from what I've heard from people, they are nowhere near the quality that Daniel Leveson is or Declan Rudd. So I think maybe it is time out of their interest to let them go, but if we can't find another keeper, then we're going to have to keep him. Paul Huntington, he's not a game time for a long time, so I say we get rid. Josh Earl is 100% on the goal list for me. He's probably my least favourite player on the team. He does the least on the team, and I can't stand the guy. When he's on the pitch, he's just not doing enough work, and when he is doing the work, he's only running. He's not trying to put any intercepts, not putting a foot in, doesn't run past the halfway line. He's an incredibly strange player, and I don't think we should keep holding him for much longer. Greg Cunningham, there's still some quality there. I do think Cunningham probably has another season or two left in him. I do enjoy Cunningham's performances, so I would keep hold of him, to be honest with you. Joe Rafferty is one that probably should go. He's, like I say, he's not had game time for a while now, and he's not exactly quality, so yeah, I can't see Rafferty staying. However, there is one player from the academy that I believe is joining the team next season, and that is Mikey O'Neill. And I've said this to my friends and family quite a lot now, but Mikey O'Neill 100% needs to come to this starting 11 next season, because the lad is quality. He's younger than I am, and he can play some incredible football. Them 10 minutes he played against Barnsley, he played better than most of the team did in those 10 minutes, or even in the 3 minutes he played against QPR. He did show some good work on the ball, good footwork in the 10 minutes he played against Barnsley, and nearly scored. Mikey O'Neill, especially for the youth team as well, is absolutely fantastic, and I do believe that he's worth our time. He's definitely worth signing. We should get him on that starting 11 next season for sure, 100%. But with that being said, that leaves us with roughly half a team, if not just under half a team left. So who are we going to sign? And that is a great question. A question that I'm not going to answer, because Ryan Law probably has in his head a list of people that he wants to sign and what he wants to do with. I do think quite a few of them could be from lower down teams on the Championship, maybe some from League One. I know after the Barnsley game he was talking to Styles. I don't remember the lad's first name, I apologise, but there was someone on the Barnsley team with the surname Styles, and Law had a conversation with him after the game reportedly, so maybe he's trying to interest him in joining Preston North End next season, because Barnsley have just been relegated, so that could be interesting. I do think that Styles is a good player. I think he'd be good on the team, but in terms of other players we're going to sign, beyond me, I have no idea. The only thing I do know is a clean out is 100% required, because half of these players they're not with it anymore, and those that are with it, they're probably starting to come to the end. I know there's a lot of players that are out of contract this summer as well, so those who we are keeping, we need to definitely get them contracts renewed as soon as we can. And if we don't see any announcements about these contracts renewed within the next couple of weeks for the good players, I would be relatively concerned about next season. Yeah, they're selling season tickets cheap, but if there's going to be nothing to watch of quality and we're only going to get relegated, then what was the point? So hopefully this season ticket offer is something that's going to be good, something good for us as fans, so we can get into detail and watch these players provide some quality performances, because if not, we're all going to feel cheated of our money despite paying a discount because we're English. So with that being said, I'd like to thank you all for watching this episode of Football Friends. Let me know in the comments below if you know anything about Preston North End. Which players would you keep, which players would you let go, and who would you like to see join the team? Do you like Ryan Law so far, or do you think there's room for improvement still? Would you take Frankie McAvoy back? I don't think so. The Blackburn hammer-in was something completely different. It was different. The team on that day they weren't with it. For a local derby, it was not acceptable. The lads are on holiday already, as you can tell. There's one game left of the season, and that's Middlesbrough, so If we beat Middlesbrough, no playoffs for them. If we don't beat Middlesbrough, playoffs for Middlesbrough. So hopefully we can beat Middlesbrough. Anyways, thank you all for watching once more, and I'll see you all in the next one, whatever that may be. Take care, and hopefully see you on Deep Dale.